Hey, this is Dan Dowdy, the host of the Built for Trades podcast, and today I'm here with my fellow team member here at Built for the Trades. We're going to talk all about building a marketing strategy and really helping people avoid taking the shotgun approach to marketing. So if you're tired of just feeling like you're dumping thousands of dollars into this endless hole called Google, then stay tuned because we're going to help you build a strategic marketing strategy for your business that will get you the ROI that you're looking for. You ready to go, Nathan?
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, so let's dive in. So before we jump into this, we just want to ask our audience that, if you like what you hear on Built for Trades podcast, please share this with a friend and leave us a review. Review helps. All the reviews really help guide our future conversations. And our goal here is to help you, your team, your organization grow through leadership development. And so in previous podcasts, you probably heard us talk about vision tools. You heard us talk about building your vision map. Well, something else we do whenever we onboard a client is we help them build their marketing strategy.
Yeah, we have a great tool for that. We call it a marketing strategy questionnaire. And we'll be going through the questions on this questionnaire today, but if you want to get a copy of this, we'll have it on our website. So if you go look up this podcast episode, we'll have a blog post, all about it, and we'll have a link to this marketing strategy questionnaire if you want to go through it yourself.
Good deal. So let's dive in. So I wanted to start with a quote, and the quote is, "A leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." That's by John C. Maxwell. And, when it comes to building a vision and communicating a vision, having a marketing strategy is so important. I mean, I talked about it in the intro, but really there's a lot of things that companies do. And one is just take a shotgun approach to their marketing and become very reactionary with their marketing. Mm-hmm. Really, business owners are reactionary in general if they don't have a plan, like if they don't know the way, right? But with what we teach you today, it's all about being strategic with your marketing, right? It's all about having a good, diverse plan, having a good budget, and just continuing to press into that. Yeah. I had a recent situation where a business owner, they weren't getting enough calls in their business, and between coaching calls, which is only every 2 weeks, they're probably listening to this. Now look, this is a great story, right? They take a grasp of whatever they can grab, and so they sign up for a complete year of a whole new marketing plan because it was a good deal. But it's thousands of dollars, and they're just kind of throwing things at the wall and see if they stick. And if they don't stick, they throw something else at the wall. That becomes a very expensive approach to your marketing. So today we're going to help you avoid that. We're going to help you focus on really is what's going to make you money in your business. So when you build this strategy, moving forward, you have that marketing engine moving and going, and really you should just be turning it up and turning it down as necessary.
Yeah, no, that's good. We want to help you get the best ROI you can, right? And feel like your efforts are focused, your money is focused on where it needs to be, and you're just not wasting money.
That's it. So let's start with demographic. That's the number one thing on our list here, Nathan. And we talk about describing the company avatar. Now, when I use the word avatar, you usually get like this blank stare. People like, I really don't know what you're talking about. Don't worry, because when I first learned about this, I had no idea what that person was talking about either. So, but really, it's your ideal customer, the person that you're wanting to attract, right? And you want to kind of write down who this person is. And so one of the first questions we ask in building your demographic is, what's the age range of this customer that you're looking to attract? And I like to look at about 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people say, well, I want to attract somebody my ideal avatar is ages 25 to 45. And that's the avatar. And so the next question we go into is we talk about the age of the home, if you're a home service company, right? Like the value of the homes that you're wanting to serve. That's a big one. Like a lot of people think, well, I just want to go out and got all these $1 million houses because $1 million houses are so awesome, they're so big and fancy. But the realization they come to a lot of times is that the $1 million homeowners are some of the most pain in the butt homeowners you deal with, right? Maybe when we actually want to attract or serve homes that are, depending on your markets, all different, but maybe upper middle class, right?
Yeah.
And so once they start to realize that, the light bulb comes on, and they realize like, wow, I'm marketing the wrong areas.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good. This is beginning to paint a picture of who your ideal customer is, and we'll talk here in a minute about how you use that. But thinking through this and writing as many details down as you can is going to help you throughout all of your marketing, your website, and a lot of different things. So this is not just something, just sort of an exercise, but you're going to actually use this information, and we'll talk more about that here in a second.
One more thing on demographic, because we can go on and on about that, but let's just say you're wanting to attract somebody 25 to 45 that has a family, right?
Yep.
That's going to look different than if you wanted to attract somebody 25 to 45 that's single. The way your marketing looks in general is going to look different. The pictures that you're using on your website or social media is going to look a little different, right? Because you're wanting to you're wanting your ideal customer, your avatar, to have that emotional connection with your business.
Yeah, that's right. And this also correlates to this is jumping ahead a bit, but whatever age you're looking for, you want to be on the platforms that they're on, which sort of seems obvious, but if, like the older, I forget exactly where the cutoff is now, but, say 40 to 60 year olds, they may be on Facebook, but 20 to 30 year olds may not be on Facebook anymore. They may only be on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever the latest one is, right? So the platforms you want to be on are going to be determined by the age of the avatar that you're looking for, your ideal customers, right?
Yeah, that's good. So now the next piece of the marketing strategy is going to be your geographic locations of where does that customer live, right?
Yep.
This goes back to the home values. So let's say your home value is between $500,000 and $750,000. You can look within a certain radius of your shop location, and you could really start to target neighborhoods that fit that home value. Or maybe you want to work in homes that are like that, but 10 years and older. Mm-hmm. So now you're starting to really take a targeted approach to your marketing, and you're reaching out to those people who live in those homes.
No, that's great. And by writing down, the counties, the cities, maybe your service area encompasses several cities. You want to write all of those city names down and have that list, because that's going to help you when it comes to SEO on your website. And that's going to be something useful to hand to your marketing agency, or if you're doing it in-house, to them. But you're going to want to have a list of all of those written down, because all of those need to get on your website and be used in your marketing material. Yeah,
it's funny. There's some companies that we work with that are in other states, and they're like, "Oh, my ideal geographic locations is 10 miles from my shop." And I think about where we live here in Texas. Like 10 miles from our shop would be like half of that would be fields and pastures and nothing. Yeah. So like here in Texas, it'd be more like a 60-mile radius of any location to get enough people to serve there. So number 3. Is going to be your psychographic, and it says list of services offered, but more a list of the most profitable services you offer. Because once again, like if you can just imagine a picture, you're building this marketing strategy, and if you were to draw a bullseye on the wall, this marketing strategy should be the center of your bullseye, right? It's your most profitable area, most profitable services. It doesn't mean you won't serve outside that bullseye, but what it means is when you're busy, all your calls should be in that bullseye. So if you have a customer calling who's on the bullseye or outside the bullseye, and then you have a customer calling who's on the bullseye, you can easily cull that customer who's not in your bullseye and replace it with somebody who is dead center of your marketing strategy, if you know what I mean. So it really takes that targeted approach to how you're doing it. So psychographic. So listing all the services out, and then just like you said, when you communicate that on your website, you're going to list those services out. Because when you start a company, everybody there's going to relate to this statement. When you start a company, you're all things to all people.
Right.
As you grow your company and as you develop your leadership and your leadership teams, you have to start narrowing down those services, because if you continue to be all things to all people, then your service quality goes down.
Yep. Yeah, the natural progression is going to be you're going to start targeting on those services that you do the best and are most profitable. And by putting those things on your website, like Dan's saying, you might do more than those top 2 or 3 services, but by putting those 2 or 3 on your website, that's what you're going to start to become known for. And so you're going to start attracting more of those services. And when customers don't see what they're looking for, that's great. Your website is acting as a filter to filter out those customers. So it really becomes a really useful way to help naturally filter out customers and attract the ones you want, and the ones you don't want are going to go elsewhere.
I'm reminded of a marketing. I think I was listening to a marketing podcast or something, and they were talking about the energy that it takes, or the calories that the potential client has to burn to do business with you.
Yes.
Do you know that? Do you mind sharing with the audience more what that looks like?
Yeah. So if a customer comes to your website, let's say they have a leak, right? So they have it's an emergency, it's a leak. They come to your website and they have to scroll down quite a ways, and they're reading through a lot of different words to even get to your list of services, and they don't see leak on there, right? They're burning like they're in emergency. They're kind of they're upset, right? Like they're not they're not slowly, carefully reading through your website, right? They're trying to get a solution to their problem quickly. Yeah. So like all this extra information and stuff on the website is burning calories, right? It's wasting calories as they're trying to get to their solution. So they're going to get frustrated. So kind of the idea is you want your customers to burn the fewest amount of calories, so you can tell them that, like, yes, I can solve your problem, right? So you want to say that at the top of your webpage. You want to say it very clearly. So if leaks is your thing, you would want that to be very prominent right at the top. Like, you got a leak, call here, right? It should be that simple. That way when someone lands on your webpage, they don't burn many calories at all, right? It's like, oh, leak, yeah, that's me. I got a leak. Oh, call you. Okay. Done, right? Like, they don't have to scroll through. They don't want to hear like your story about how you got started 50 years ago and all that kind of stuff, right? That's wasting those calories.
I guarantee you people listening are going to their website right now to see what they got going on. Yeah, that really pissed me off one time. I was talking to a marketing person, and they were looking at a previous website of one of my companies, and they were like, wow, you're really proud of yourself and what you've accomplished. Yep. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I am. Like, look how, but the reality is that they're saying is like the customers don't care about that, really.
They don't care about that, yeah.
What they care about is can you fix their problem,
yeah.
right? So that's the initial thing you need to focus on. Number 4 in the marketing strategy is is just documenting your proven process. And we put naming your service system. So for a lot of companies who are growing and stuff, they may not even have any systems.
Yep.
But it's key to have a key service system in your business, especially if you're a service company. And it's usually like a 10-step system that kind of tells your team what the standards are for communicating with your customers from start to finish. And so, here at Built for the Trades, ours is called the Flow to Success, right? And we help our clients not only build that for their service technicians, but also their customer service department, and then even their leadership team. So it's good to have that standard, because once again, as you're growing, you have target marketing, and you want to keep your 5-star service up. So if you have no standard for that, then the 5-star service or whatever star service is being given is left up to your team members.
It's not going to be consistent, right?
It's not consistent, right? Yeah. So if they get Bill out there one day to do a service call, and then 6 months later they call again and get Joe, well, if there's no consistent system there, it's going to be a bad experience, potentially, right? Or a different experience. And when it comes to customer experience, it's the sum of all the experiences. It's not just one experience.
It's all another word for that would be like your touch points, right? So you might call, so that's one touch point. Somebody comes out, that's another touch point. Maybe there's a follow-up 2 weeks later with a different person, that's another touch point. Maybe there's a follow-up email, building, like all those little pieces are touch points, right? And you want them to all be consistent with your values and your business. So step 1 here is, if you don't have a service system, write it down, create one, right? And then for the purposes of your marketing, give it a name. So it's simply giving it, a name that, fits your values, your business, the kind of services you're offering. But there is something about having your system named that makes it feel more substantial to your customer, makes your customer feel like, wow, they've done this so much, they're so good at this, it's systematized, they have a checklist, they clearly know what they're doing, right? It helps the customer feel comfortable with going with you.
That's good. All right, so the next number 5 here is your guarantee to your customers. What do you think the most number 1 guarantee?
Money back?
Yeah, typically, right?
Yeah.
100% satisfied or your money back?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's typically the most commonly used guarantee. So yeah, you could use that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the customers are used to seeing that. So I'd say be unique, be creative with your guarantee, and that should be something that is listed on your marketing, because at the end of the day, you want your customers to have peace of mind, knowing that if they call you, whether we make a mistake or not, right? It's going to be fixed. We're going to make sure it's correct at the end.
It's good.
So.
And this is, one area you could get creative if you want. This kind of relates to our next one, which is about being unique, but kind of from the marketing world, you can make your guarantee so good that it alleviates all kind of blockers from the customer. Right? So if the customer is a little unsure and they see that money back guarantee, that makes them feel like at ease, right? Like, okay, they're going to take care of me. But what if you had like 150% guarantee, a 200% guarantee, right? Like you could kind of go crazy, if you will, with your guarantee and add even more comfort to them and help kind of differentiate you from other people. And the good thing is generally you don't ever have to use those. So even if you did have like a 200% guarantee, you'll very rarely need to use it. So just an idea that's sometimes used in the marketing world.
I like it. The next one is your 3 uniques. So we put in here like what makes you different than your competitors.
Yeah.
And that's always a good one for a team to think through, because they realize like what they initially come up with is exactly like their competitors. So they have to really, really think about what makes them different.
Yeah.
And being like homegrown or locally owned, family owned, I know that's pretty common, but in the day and age we live in, I think that's really important now, because a lot of your competitors are franchises or nationwide companies, and the buzzword of shopping local is pretty big. Yeah,
that's good. And you want to. So if you have your core values written out, some of these unique things can flow directly out of those core values. So that's something that we work with clients a lot on, usually when we're first engaging with them, is developing their core values. So that would be a good place to look to, is how can I rewrite our core values into a statement to our customers that shows that we're unique.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing is like once you write your 3 uniques, what separates you from your competitors, then you can use that in all different areas of your marketing.
Yeah.
It really will separate you.
Yeah, and really, so the answers to all of these are going to inform where, what social platforms you're going to be on, where your ads are going to be targeted, the language you use in your ads, in your social posts, right? Like all of your answers to this, you want to have this and hand this to your marketing person or marketing company, and they're going to use this to influence, how they post, where they post, all of that.
All right, cool. Any other uniques that you can think of, Nathan, that people could use when they're talking about their business?
No.
It's a broad question, huh?
That is a broad question. I'd have to know more about the company.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's dive into the next piece. What I usually at this point ask clients to do is list out all their marketing services that they offer. Just bullet point and list out all the way down the page, right? Once you air all that out, you're going to see things like your SEO, like your website, maybe your pay-per-click ads, direct mailers, email marketing, social media, all these different things, right? They're going to list all those things out, yellow pages, whatever it is. And then I ask them to draw 3 buckets, and they draw a sales bucket, or they draw 1 bucket and they put sales at the top, and they draw another bucket, they put retention, and they draw another bucket, the 3rd bucket, and they put community. And then I ask them to move over each one of their marketing efforts into the bucket that it correlates with. And typically what happens is they fill up their sales bucket, and then their retention bucket is empty, and their community bucket is completely empty.
Yeah. So
like when people are so sales focused, it really limits the organic growth of your business. It really limits the cost per lead. And what I mean is when you're only sales focused, not only is your cost per lead higher, right? Because there's no branding efforts going on. There's no community efforts and things like that. There's no customers calling us back time and time again.
Right.
And so it becomes a very expensive hole of, like I said when we started, like the expensive hole of Google, where you're just throwing in thousands of dollars hoping something's going to happen.
So if you think, you spend, say, $5 to acquire a lead, and that lead, because you've done good at branding, you've done good at all your touch points, like they had a good experience, they come back again. Well, now if you look at the lifetime value of that customer, instead of costing $5 for 2 customers, if you're only sales focused, then you'd be spending $5 for, say, 2 customers, versus if you do branding as well, you spend $5 to acquire the customer, they come back again. Well, now it costs $0 the second time. Mm-hmm. So you can think of it as you just halved your cost to acquire that customer. Now it's $250. If they come back a third time, then you divide that $5 by 3, mm-hmm. right? So your cost to acquire the customer goes down if you do the retention piece well, you do the community piece well.
Man, only if you could acquire a customer for $5 nowadays.
Well, yeah, that's.
I think in the trade space, it's more like $500.
Yeah,
$500 a lead if you're just pay per clicking. You're paying for pay per clicks and things like that. So This is a really, really important part of the marketing engine, and diversifying that. So things that would go in your retention area would be things like email marketing, maybe social communication, different social platforms, because you got to think people don't get in their social channel and say, what was that HVAC company again, because I need to call them real quick. Like, you want to be coming across their channel and entertaining them enough and giving them enough feed that it becomes top of mind to them, because really what they're going to do is go on Google and search you, click on your website, figure out how to book and get it done like that.
So that's the idea, right? Even with email too, right? It's even if they don't open the email, if they see an email in their inbox from you, they're going to be reminded of you, and that email just did its job. Right? Even if they're not going to, book because they don't have an issue today, but if they just are reminded on a weekly basis or so, this is my plumbing company. Oh, they're emailing me again. You're staying top of mind, and that's the goal with the retention piece.
That's good. Another retention piece that's really underrated and is old school is stickers.
It works.
Yeah, like if you're a home service company and your techs aren't putting stickers on garbage disposals or water heaters or HVAC units or things like that, electrical panels, like you're really, really missing a cheap form of retention marketing.
Yeah, we just moved into a couple years ago. We moved into an old house, and I was working on the under the sink. Yeah, I think it was I don't know if it's on the garbage disposal or in the cabinet, but either way, I opened it up and there was a sticker, and I had an issue. That's who I called first. Now they happen to be out of business, but I did call them.
Hey, you called them.
I called them. I was like, hey, they've been here before. They knew what they were doing. I need help again. So yeah, it works.
Another piece of retention marketing, memberships. If you're a company that's selling peace of mind and selling relationships and selling an experience, then having a peace of mind of knowing that you're going to come out multiple times a year and tune up my HVAC unit or my furnace or something like that, or check my plumbing system or whatever it is, right? Like having that membership is a great retention tool for customers.
This is great because it gives the customer peace of mind. It gives you a reason to interact with the customer and stay top of mind for any other issues that may arise. And this kind of correlates to the email piece too, right? Like if you have quarterly checkups, then a month out from the checkup, you can send an email. A week out, you can send reminders. So any reason to interact with the customer, stay top of mind is a great thing.
Then when we go into the community bucket, obviously your core values help you in everything that you do as far as how you're portraying yourself and your company, but really there's opportunities for giving back, whether it's financially giving back or your team going out and bagging groceries for a nonprofit or just doing something like that. And not only is that going to help you with branding in your community and your reputation, but it's also going to help you with your team culture.
Yeah, and the core values and giving back, these are great ways to communicate to the community who you are and that you care about the community. So that's going to be great on the customer side, but this is also really good on attracting talent into your business too.
That's good.
Attracting new techs, whomever. But the people who you're looking to hire, if they're going out there and checking out your business and they see that, oh wow, my values align with theirs, they give back to the community. They care about the things I care about. They're far more likely going to want to come talk to you and work with you. So we actually have an entire ebook on this called 3 Steps to Attract and Retain Talent. And this is a piece of it, is communicating who you are, using social media, using your marketing. So yeah, you can go grab that ebook at our website if you want to check that out.
And then, on the community, once again, like you said, if you know your avatar, either your avatar customer or your avatar next hire team member, right? Then you should easily be able to look at the year in review and community events and decide, okay, am I going to go to trade shows? Am I going to go to farmers market? Am I going to go to whatever I'm going to go to, right? Maybe auto shows. It could be anything in your community. And having a booth there and being present, maybe even having a mascot for your company would be really cool. Like a great way for the kids to really enjoy it, especially if your avatar is a family. Like maybe it's, like we talked about earlier, family with a couple kids, then why do you not have a mascot in your business, right?
Absolutely.
Like you could totally rock that and the kids would love that. And it'd be fun too, like your technicians could have like a little stuffed animal, the mascot, and when they go do service at a call at a house and somebody gets a membership, maybe it comes with the mascot for the kids, a little stuffed animal. Yeah, that would be memorable, right? They would always remember that and they would love that, and that would be an emotional connection.
Yeah, that's great. Another key here too is you're thinking about where you want to focus your sales efforts, your retention efforts, your community efforts, to go back through the 3 buckets. But as you're working with your marketing person in-house or marketing company, you want to start measuring your results if you're not already. So that can be weekly, or I would say at the longest length of time you'd want to look at is monthly. You should be getting some kind of report that shows where your money's going, how it's being spent, to make sure it's going to the places you want it to.
Yeah, and the simplest form of measuring results is giving each one of these different marketing categories or strategies here a different phone number. So the phone number's coming in, you can track it through whatever system that you're running. And I'm not always a fan of tracking every single marketing campaign you have, but the ones that you're investing the most money in, I do say you track. And really, marketing is more, ultimately we market, right, to earn a revenue for our business. And so for everybody listening out there, you can have the best marketing strategy and you can invest a lot of money in it and have a great budget and do all these different things. But the other piece of it, the other 50% of getting a great revenue, is going to be how your team, or what your team does with it. Right? The phone rings, what does your team do with it? And if your team's not trained and they're not equipped, then your marketing efforts, building the best marketing strategy in the world, is going to fall flat.
Yeah, that's right. But if leads are more your problem, then you need to get your marketing engine working, get everything in place, and then you can start measuring those results, right? How many times are you booking per call?
Yeah, there's lots of times that if I have a client here that says, "Hey, look, I'm just not getting the marketing results that I want to get, not booking enough phone calls," right? We typically start with grading our team and seeing what are we doing with the calls coming in, listening to the calls, making sure we're allocating them right, and making sure that we're actually getting the right booking percentage. And what we've come to find out a lot of times is it goes from showing a 90% booking rate to like a 60% booking rate, or a 50 or a 40, right? Because the reality is until you really start diving in, people can kind of fudge the numbers a little bit sometimes, especially depending on who's listening to it and how they're allocating it. If you're even allocating it at all, it's really important. Another key piece, as we're kind of coming to close here, is relationships, right? Relationships are so key to be successful in marketing. Really having a marketing company that you partner with that you trust is really, 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 really important. I think as you grow a business, you start to bring more marketing in-house. So that looks a little bit different. But for the smaller companies that are up and coming, if you're not the squeaky wheel, if you're not the one who is consistently communicating with your marketing team or your marketing company, right, then you're going to be kind of set it and forget it type thing. Especially some of these bigger marketing companies, they have a lot of clients. So they're going to build you a strategy, hit play, and forget about you. And the reality is Google's always changing up their algorithms. They're always changing things up. in order to make people, they're always changing things up in order to make people spend more money, right? In order to
how to get more money from you.
Exactly. There you go. I mean, really, that's
exactly.
the reality. That's the name of the game for them.
Yeah.
Is changing it up. So what was working 3 weeks ago may not still be working today.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I talked about getting weekly or monthly reports. I think a part of that should be telling your marketing company, hey, I want a monthly report and I want to go through it with you on a 1-hour call, once a month. I think that's not, not unreasonable to ask them to do that. But to your point, part of what you're wanting to do is look at the numbers with them, have them explain what's happening. You can ask questions. You can say what's changed, or is there something, a new platform or a new thing we should be trying. It just gives you the opportunity to check in and make sure you're staying on top of it.
That's good. So all this information, hope you took notes, started building your marketing strategy. I'm just going to say it like I say it all the time, is like, don't overcomplicate this.
Yeah.
I mean, really, a simple marketing strategy is better than no marketing strategy at all. If you take this and overcomplicate it, the chances of you getting it started or even, to completion at all, it really goes down a lot.
Yeah, and before we started rolling the cameras, we were talking about how we feel like it's best to just pick one platform where your avatar is and focus on getting good at that platform. So if we're trying to kind of boil it all down, I would say first go through, answer these questions to get an understanding of what your target is, and then pick a platform and get really good at it. Don't try to do all the platforms all at once. Just pick one, get really good at that. Then once you feel comfortable, you've kind of got a process in place to get content out there consistently, then move on to a second or third platform. But just really master one at a time.
That's good, man. Yeah, it's not how many platforms you can be on, right? It's how many platforms that you can do consistently.
Yeah.
That's the key. Yeah, because a lot of these things, we want instant gratification. And we want to see the results, like, man, okay, we tried this for a week, it's not working, let's go to the next one. It's like, hold on, pump your brakes, we need to give this a little time to play out.
Yeah, absolutely.
The confidence in letting things play out will come from your marketing strategy. So
Right.
You'll be able to look at this through the lens of who's your avatar and ask yourself, is this even the right approach? And if you can say yes, then I think you're going to be more confident in giving it 6 months or a year to really play out. But if you say no, then you got to obviously go to what the area that you should be working on or applying to your marketing strategy, and really apply to that. And earlier on the podcast, I said, hey, don't throw things at the wall, see if it sticks. It's really a matter of just building the strategy, starting the engine, getting it running, and then just kind of making tweaks here and there, turning it up and down as you need.
Yeah.
But even then, I think people make a mistake of turning things up and down too much.
Right.
So it's like, it's a story of, wow, all of a sudden we got more calls than we can handle. So let's just shut it down, right? Let's just stop spending all of our money in these areas and just shut it down. But also, when running a marketing engine, it also is a thing called momentum.
Yep.
You're building momentum, like 1 week on another, one day on another is building momentum. And then as soon as you freak out and shut it down because you're too busy, what happens? You got to start back from the beginning and build that momentum over again. So whatever time you were building, you're losing by shutting that down. So don't shut it down.
No, that's good. And I think anything you're trying that's new, going to a new platform, trying a new type of ad or whatnot, I would say give it at least 6 months. Like it just all those things take time to really measure the results to see if they work or not. So yeah, if you're gonna tweak some things, just think of it like, okay, if you're gonna make a change, great, but commit to that change for 6 months at least. Measure the results over that 6 months and then decide continue, don't continue.
Good deal. All right. So, we hope you got a lot of value out of this podcast. We love sharing these vision tools. Today, we're talking about the marketing strategy. Nathan, thanks again for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, it's a great time. We just want to ask the audience again, please subscribe, share this with a friend. We want to grow this podcast organically as much as possible. And our focus is to help you grow in your leadership and help you grow your organization. So, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks a lot.